Hey all, Pete here. I'm out in my backyard and I'm storing all my traps today. I usually stop coyote trapping in January, and I leave them out in the backyard till about March 1st, and then I pressure wash them and dip them in the paint and leave them hang for a couple months, and then I full metal jacket them, and then usually second, third week of May, they're ready to go into totes with some sagebrush and dirt till fall. And so today they're ready to go. But before I put them away, I wanted to do my video on pan size. I know that when I've been a water trapper since junior high, and it's only been the last about 5 years I've gotten into canines and bobcats and stuff. Well, bobcats just this last year, but canines and fox, you know, stuff like that. Coyotes. This year I'm going to go after wolves. But I never cared much about pan size. I never even thought about it, and I didn't use pan tension for anything in the water, and I still don't. I don't care about pan tension in the water. But when I started getting in the forums and paying attention to what was going on with people who trap coyotes especially, I saw a lot of different opinions about pan size. Obviously, I've learned my lesson, like you saw in my video. If you watched my highlights of this last season, I'm absolutely convinced that pan tension matters on land. I did far better with stuff that had about 5 pounds of pan tension than I did with stuff that was lighter. I don't think it matters in the water. I caught several beaver this year again for a guy, and I catch muskrats and mink, and I don't worry about pan tension in the water, but I do worry about pan tension on land. But there's also a lot of talk about pan size, and you'll find every opinion on this, and people get really rude about it. You don't need to be rude about it. Just find what works for you. And what I'm going to explain today is what works for me and what makes sense to me. It might not make sense to you. Find your own way if you don't like this. But this is for beginners, and this is just kind of an explanation about pan size. Now, with my coyote traps, I use number 3 and number 4 double long spring traps. On my number 3s, okay, first of all, on any trap for coyotes, I put the pit pan system on it unless it's a Sleepy Crick trap. Sleepy Cricks, I can adjust the pan tension on them. They get a little bit of creep, but I can get the pan tension about where I want it, and I don't worry about putting pit pans on them. But any other trap I have for coyotes, number 3, number 4 double long, I put the pit pan system on them. It's a night latch, and you can adjust the pan tension. And I crank that pan tension up to 4 to 5 pounds. Okay. All right. So here's an old Victor. I think might be a diamond. Number 3 double long. It's got the pit pan system on it. I do not put expanded pans on number 3s for anything except bobcat, and I'll show you here in a second. But this has got the pit pan system on it. Here's a Victor number 3 with the pit pan system, and as you can see, an expanded pan. Okay. Now, why do I put expanded pans on bobcat traps and not on coyote traps? Okay, well, I don't want the coyote to step on the pan and the jaw at the same time, because it will throw his foot out of the trap. And with this size of a pan, the likelihood of him stepping on the jaw and the pan at the same time is very, very much reduced. He could step here, you know, he could step here, but it's just, there's less of a chance of that. Okay, I want him to step on the pan in the middle of the jaws, so when I guard my trap, put some stepping guides, this is buried, I'll put clods kind of around the jaws, because I want a big open spot right there for him to step on. Okay, so that's what I do with my number 3s for coyotes. I don't do anything except put the pit pan on. With my bobcat traps, This year was my first year bobcat trapping. Like, I did a video on it. I talked about it. I'll do some videos this year when I'm out trapping in the field for bobcats. But I used exposed traps. So I dug the bed, I laid the trap in the bed, covered the springs up a little bit, and then I just put some twigs or brush, or not twigs, but like pine needles or whatever, just kind of around the jaws. And I left this big pan just exposed. Looks like a rock for them to step on. And like I said, in a week I had 2 bobcats. And then I pulled all my traps out because my goal was 2. And I had stuff other places I was doing. I was trying to go after these problem beaver, and I'm not a full-time trapper, I'm a hobby trapper. So this year I hope to catch a few more bobcats. I'll start a little earlier and pull some of my coyote trap lines earlier, and so I have more time to go after bobcats. But the reason I don't worry about it with these is because, like I said, I cover the jaws a little bit. You know, they're exposed, and I just leave that big pan exposed for them to step on. So I don't worry about it as much about them stepping on the pan and the jaw at the same time, because they have this big exposed area to step on. And that worked fine for me this year, okay? So with my bobcat traps, this is one of my bobcat traps, number 3, double long. It's an old Victor. Put the pit pan system on it, and I use these electric outlet box covers that have the kind of an octagon shape to them. I like those better than the square ones. And then that's my bobcat trap, okay? Number 3 double long, another number 3 double long for coyotes. This is a Sleepy Creek, okay? I do not put the pit pan system on them because you can adjust the pan tension on these, all right? You can adjust it, it's not a big deal. So I just adjust them pretty tight and set them as is. You know, I always add a little chain. You've seen my videos when we talk about chain length. I like a lot of chain on my traps for a lot of reasons. I can do a lot of different things with it. Doesn't mean I always have to use it all, but I can do a lot of different things with it. So like this trap, first time I set it, I'll stake it about right there. You know, and then if I catch something, I'll reset it, and I'll run it out to the end of the chain and put it out right on the edge of the catch circle. That's something I like to do. But anyway, that's a Sleepy Creek number 3 double long. Again, I go with the stock pan. Okay, not much of a chance of the coyote stepping on the pan and the jaw at the same time. Okay. Number 4 double long. Okay, this is an old Victor number 4 double long. On these for coyotes, I put the pit pan system and I expand the pan. Why? Well, I used these octagon shaped kind of electric box covers because they leave a little bit more space in between the jaws and the pan. Now, yes, they could still step on the jaws and the pan at the same time, granted. But you know what? I caught a lot of coyotes with these traps, with these expanded pans on them. I don't think I've ever had a toe catch on these. I've had toe catches on other traps, but I don't think I've ever had a toe catch on an expanded pan like this. There's still some good spacing here. You know, it's not all the way to the edge of the jaw. When I put my stepping guides down, after this is buried, they'll go right around the jaws, but it still leaves a bigger step area for the coyote, okay? So on my number 4s, I do put expanded pans, but only on my number 4s, never on my number 3s, except my bobcat traps. And as always, the pit pan system is on here. Number 4. Okay, here's one of my beaver traps. This is a number 5. Couple things about this trap. One, this is the only trap I buy that is not made in the United States. It's a Bridger number 5. I don't buy the Sleepy Creek 4.5s for beaver because I can't hand set them, but I can set these by hand. So I buy these Bridgers for beaver. I use number 4 and number 5 double longs for beaver. The number 5s I only use if I'm going for a hind foot catch. If I'm going for a front foot catch, I use a number 4 double long or even a number 3 double long. The biggest beaver I ever caught in my life was in a number 2 double long, and it wasn't a beaver set, but it was the biggest beaver I ever caught on the front foot. But if I'm going for a hind foot catch on a beaver, this is what I use. I do not expand the pans on these because if you've seen a beaver's hind foot, it's huge, and I don't want him to step on the pan and the jaw at the same time. So I would almost even prefer this to be a little bit smaller, because I want his foot to fit inside those jaws and hit that pan to set that trap off. I don't want him to set it off by accidentally stepping here and his toes hit that pan and set it off. I'll miss him or I'll get his toes, and I don't want that. I want to catch him around the leg with this, okay? So Bridger number 5 double long, the only trap I buy that isn't made in America. I hate to say that, but I'm glad it's the only one. One of these days, maybe, I don't know, maybe someone will make another double long that's made in America that's number 5 like this that I can set by hand. But anyway, it's a good sturdy beaver trap. Wouldn't recommend it for wolf. I'm using actually Sleepy Creek 4.5s for wolves for other reasons, but I'm not going to talk about that today because I'm not a wolf trapper yet. This is my first year going after wolves. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, number 5 for beaver, rear foot catch only. This is what I use. Front foot catch, I still don't expand the pans. I don't care about pan tension. I use a 3 or a 4 for a front foot catch, but I still don't worry about pan tension, and I don't expand the pans. Okay. All right, I appreciate you watching. If you like my videos, go ahead and subscribe. My videos are mainly for beginners. I'm trying to help people, you know, who are getting started trapping. I live out here in Idaho, and we're one of the few states left without a lot of trapping regulations. And we got a really good bunch of guys in Idaho who trap. I meet a lot of them at the sales and stuff every year. Good, ethical guys and independent guys, and but there's just not a lot of focus, I don't think, on I mean, I'm not saying focus, but we don't think about what do we do for the beginner? How do we help somebody get started? So I always volunteer to do some demos for kids at the fur sales, and I make these videos. These are mainly for beginners, like I said. But if you like my channel, subscribe. I'll be doing a couple more videos this summer, and then you won't see much from me on trapping videos until fall. But I am going to do a few more videos about some of the work I do, and a couple other sort of related subjects related to the outdoors and stuff like that. All right, so I'm Pete. Remember, God is great, guns are good, freedom is precious. I'll see you in the next video.